we go, folks. IC Cup Test Bug, known as a Zerg-favored map. DIMAGA, no doubt, fairly happy to be playing on it. The question is, can he pull it off? We're about to find out. I bring you DIMAGA right here in the blue trunks. He is playing Zerg to the south of IC Cup Test Bug versus his opponent, the one and only TLO. He is in the red trunks and he is playing Terran to the east.
Both these guys so mannered. I was actually laughing more this morning than I have the entirety of the last 2 weeks. TLO is so funny. He's a very, very funny guy. And he, like I said, he's giving me a little badge.
You're so proud of that.
It's
you know,
nice
there's an organization called Scouts. You can join that. You get loads of badges. It's
Really?
really cool. If you like badges,
I think
that's a
this
good
is
place
a
to
better
go.
badge, though. I'm quite proud of this one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dignitas. I'm sorry, OD.
You got your Team Liquid Merit badge. I have to wonder what you had to do in order to earn that.
It's
Actually,
like
I
Show
don't
and
know.
Bisu are behind me with knives right now. You traitor!
That's a possibility, certainly. I can just see it. Liquid Apollo.
Nazgul! Liquid Apollo!
That sounds like some kind of aphrodisiac. I'm sorry. I'm not going with that.
I'm sure Nazgul would love to have me join the team. I'll bring a right dynamic into his squad.
What exactly would that dynamic be? I'm just very, very curious to know.
Pure talent.
I see. And who's the partner that you're going to bring in order to provide that?
Well, I think given the opportunity to train alongside such pros as TLO, I think there's magic to be happening.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not like there's any pros to train alongside in Team Dignitas.
They don't like me.
I can't imagine why. Barracks going down right here for TLO. We've got the refinery coming down. That came first, needless to say. And the question is, what is DIMAGA going to do in order to respond to that? Hatchery went down on 14. How long is he going to leave that pool this time?
Well, I think he's going to go straight up to 17. Again, test book, he's seeing the style of TLO. And that's what you got to consider in a best of 3 also, is that in game 1, he didn't go for 17 spawner pool, got it a lot earlier. And in game 3, it's like, okay, you've done this build 3 times in a row now. I've seen you practicing with it. You're going to do it again. I can get away with 17 pool. There's no pressure coming from this build whatsoever. He's not going to... He will pressure with a Hellion and Marine, but that's quite a long time away from... If I go 15 pool, I don't need it that early. So we can go quite easily for the 17 pool here. And meanwhile, we are going to see the same build again from TLO, pulling off gas perfectly here. And I really do like this build. And look at this. You may notice a lot of Terran players here will be like, oh my god, TLO did not wall off. Well, in fact, that he knows that this is going to be a macro-orientated game. He knows how DIMAGA plays. And at the same time, he's walled off inside the mineral line, if you see, with the supply depot. And it's actually a very defensive position here.
Yeah, it's always good to try and do that. It's a little bit of SimCity, so they say. And as a direct result of that, attacking from the north of this mineral line is nigh and impossible. He also has a fairly solid partial wall-off right here that would be completed simply by adding a single building. So I think the TLO's got a really great position here. Spinecrawler going down for DIMAGA. It's okay because the SCV is there to kill it eventually, very, very slowly. He gets out of there and he shouldn't lose that SCV, I would think, unless it takes too many corners, which actually slows the SCV down.
It should be fine. There is a Marine and a Hellion out now, which will be able to pressure a little bit, force more than just these 2 links, because currently the DIMAGA will only build these 2 links and that will be it. So if he goes down here, he might force more out. There is a Spinecrawler though, and he is building additional queens. Well, he will follow that up. There are 2 additional queens, so he might not force any more wings out. At the same time, TLO has also played against his style in 3 games now. And he will have to look for some kind of exploit. TLO is very smart like that on the fly, and he's like, okay, I actually know this, okay? I've played Zerg before as well. I've played this style before as well. I know it's pretty weak against this, and he's going for this barracks now. He's getting Marine. He will be following that up with Stim as soon as he gets to that 100 gas.
Oh, yes. Now, I think DIMAGA's weakness, perhaps, is that DIMAGA has done the same thing pretty much every game. TLO has arguably done the same thing. Yes, I can see the Hellions coming in right here, and a little bit of barbecue action going on, and not too bad right here for TLO at all. And of course, Queens really suck off creep, and he hasn't actually joined them up yet, so a little bit more damage could be done with the red flame right now, trying to find a flanking position, drawing his opponent off of the creep deliberately. Now, the question is, will he be able to slide past? He does have now a 3rd Hellion in there, so he catches a couple of drones on the transfer. He might even be able to hit a few more. This is great harassment initially right here from TLO.
Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. 6 drones killed.
Not bad.
Excellently.
A good trade.
Very much so worth it. And not only did he kill 6 drones, because the queens were running around trying to chase that,
they weren't
DIMAGA
injecting.
actually, missed a lot of lava injects there. So that's really good. It slows down the production of DIMAGA, though he's back at 36 drones immediately. Nothing but drones are being made now. And I know that, well, we're going to see TLO here go for a very, very marine-heavy counterattack. Well, not counterattack, sorry, it's more like a timing attack with stim and a couple of medivacs again, like we saw in Shakira's. The thing is that because he killed 6 drones, he slowed down a lot of rejects. The Hive,
the Hive has been slowed down, but I don't think it's really relevant here.
The layer is going to be slowed down. The gas has been slowed down. So everything, DIMAGA is just a little bit slower, which means that the reason why it didn't work so well in that first game was because the Mutalists came out, and it was very, very easily defended after they came out. And now 2 more Hellions are going to come in, and even more drone kills.
Oh yeah, very, very nice indeed. So let's see how many more you can get. That was a big group. We'll get one more shot, and he trades it for 2 drones, but he only loses a single Hellion. So once again, I'd say that's definitely worthwhile. And as you said before, the layer tech has been delayed. It's on its way. That said, TLO may be able to get in with this timing attack. Stim is almost complete. He's got his medevac on the field. He's building another one as well. So this Marina Hellion composition should be able to do some fairly reasonable damage.
And looking at DIMAGA's vision, he did sneak a Ling in, or actually, sorry, he did sacrifice that overlord to get the vision, sees the stim being made, sees the starport, understands what's going on. Doesn't see these back-to-backs though, but a little bit of a supply block here from TLO, but it's okay. And he's going to be moving down now with all these units. Stim is completed. He's got a medevac here, and there is 1 spine crawler in the unit tab. We have 14 Lings, 14 more in production. The thing is, for TLO, Stim is done, and if he micros these Hellions well behind the Marine Army and picks off lined up Zerglings, he's going to be pretty good here.
Yes, yes, indeed, he will, and it'll be interesting to see how much damage TLO can really do here. If he doesn't do a lot of damage with this push, he might be in a position where he gets crunched once again by DIMAGA with the same approach. That said, DIMAGA has actually not taken a third yet, which is a bit of a differentiation there from Shakira's Plateau. TLO with a scan right here to try and clean out some creep tumors. Once again, he absolutely despises the amount of creep that his opponent has. It was a really good clean out. The main problem is now his army's been split in 2. Got to be very, very careful with those Hellions. He's kept them at the back. Really smart right here.
And a lot of units idle at the back there for TLO. He does pick up them in the medevac though, which is excellent play, forcing a lot of Lings out here for DIMAGA. And TLO's looking pretty good, and he's just going to go and reinforce with the rest of the units coming down. Another factory going down, and that's actually 2 factories going down and a 3rd one. So he's going to transition into basically the same style we saw last game.
Really, really solid idea.
Orientated style. And basically, if you're going to go mech, you can almost expand towards your opponent. So the gold base here, the blue base to the right of it as well, is going to be locations he'll want to expand to.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a really smart play to do that. TLO does not want to stop. He just doesn't want to keep going bio. It's a really bad idea. You've said it before that DIMAGA is absolutely fantastic against it. He got away from that engagement pretty well, but if he ends up in the same position once again that he did on Shakira's Plateau, he will lose. So he's got to transition into mech. That armor is almost complete. There are mutas on the way, but he should be able to start pumping out Thors, and he can work on missile turrets now. His engineering bay just finished. That's a big muta count coming in from DIMAGA, however.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the turret timing of TLO. Now the engineering base finished. I'm like, where are the turrets? Because 12 Mutalists are about to pop now, and this could be a very, very nasty surprise for TLO.
Yeah, it could. He's got no scan on the main either. He has no idea there's even a lair, let alone a spire, so that's very unpleasant. DIMAGA now rolling out with a very large force. That's 68 Zerglings. TLO is in a defensive position. The bunker might finish, and of course he does have some Hellions, which will help, but if he's not careful, he'll get picked off right here by the Mutants, and there's the big stim, and that bunker needs to finish. That was a good, solid wall-off defense right there by TLO. With those Hellions, however, he just doesn't want to overextend.
And DIMAGA invested a lot into that attack. Thought he could kill TLO there and then. He didn't build any drones. He's currently at 47, building 14 at once right now. But TLO, really smart defense there. The turrets are up in the main base. Doesn't need, well, hasn't got them on the natural yet. That might be a mistake here, but he is going to get 2 Thors out. Blue Flame is out. And the difference in this game compared to the last one is these Hellions did not die.
No, they didn't, and that was really critical. They didn't get some of those legendary surrounds that we've seen up until this point, and that harassment from DIMAGA right there has only forced the stim. It really hasn't done anything else. Didn't take down the refinery, so the gas is continuing to come out for this really heavy mech build. Double Thor's being built at once. He might end up losing the siege tank. He might trade a muta for it. That said, that one siege tank, not all that important, and now Thor's on the field.
No, we'd have the centrifugal hooks being made. +1 carapace for the Mutalists and the +1 carapace for the Zerglings. He has taken the 3rd base now, which is scouted by a Soul Marine on the left-hand side, chilling out by that tree. Sees the extractor going down as well, so he knows the timing of that base. And 24 Banelings being morphed currently.
lot of banelings and not a lot of siege tank coverage. That said, he's now building 3 at a time, and Infernal Pre-Igniter is on its way, so that's going to be very, very useful indeed. In comes a flanking force of Mutalisks. What is it going to be able to do? Quite a lot, because of course there is very little defense right there. The Thors will certainly help, but it's going to be difficult to get into position due to the way that this base is actually constructed. Hellions charging in to die, and right now TLO trying to repulse this as quickly as possible before too much damage is done.
Yeah, a little bit of a hole there in TLO's turret defense against Mutalisks. He's going to have to try and get them up ASAP, because I'm sure DIMAGA will want to try to go in again. But look at this, TLO is launching a huge attack now. The Marines have +1 here, and a lot more units are on the way. Blue Flame Hellions are going to make short work of all these Lings, and this could be such a strong push. There are only Lings and Mutalisks and Banelings right now.
Yeah, the main problem is that he's just got his natural expansion gutted right here. That said, this push may force the Mutants to come back, and that's exactly what's happening. TLO continuing to push forward and looking to get into a good position. He's got good deployment. He needs to not leave those tanks alone. Of course, DIMAGA will see everything on creep, so he must be very, very careful. DIMAGA has pretty much almost completely walled off right now and is trying to defend against this as best as he can. A quick stim right there in order to, one assumes, catch the Mutas. The thing is, they are already well away from that, so I'm not entirely convinced by it. He doesn't want to leave those tanks alone.
And right now the food count 162 for TLO, 168 for DIMAGA. And DIMAGA a little bit flustered, got a little bit supply cap there, and now DIMAGA's going to get ready to try and engage here, but TLO has pretty decent position.
It's not a bad position at all, to be honest. He should be okay, and I'm kind of concerned about his low Hellion count at the moment, particularly against that very, very large collection of Banelings and Zerglings. Yes, they were run into tanks, but that is still a very, very risky venture. TLO needs to get some good shots up right here with these Hellions, otherwise they're going to crash right into the defensive line of TLO, and he is just about to get rolled over right now.
Oh, the splitting of the Marines is excellent. Really nice play by TLO. Mutalisks alone left. Lings are going to come in as reinforcements so they clean this up. And DIMAGA barely defeats that army.
Yeah, TLO did fairly well there, honestly. If he had a higher Hellion count, he probably could have done much more damage, but whatever the case, he didn't come off as badly as he could have. So if we have a look at the army count right now, TLO is certainly behind, and he's also economically inferior because he simply has not been able to take a 3rd base yet, and that's my real concern. If he gets starved on 2 bases, then he's going to have real problems.
Yeah, TLO is definitely starved on 2 bases right now. I mean, he's going to kill this destructible rocks here, takes down another tower. He will try and expand very, very shortly from here. He needs to expand, basically. At the same time, we have the gold base being taken here from the left side for DIMAGA, and that attack, TLO invested a lot of money in that. He really wanted that to work. DIMAGA just pulled through though. TLO going to kill some creature units now, try to take this gold base and push forward and forward with these tanks.
Yep, he needs a good tank deployment in order to secure this. The main problem is he's now going to get caught out of position if he's not careful. A quick stim once again, runs now into the tank line, which is a reasonable amount of damage to that Baneling force. So DIMAGA not willing to go in for that just yet.
And DIMAGA is in a quite nice comfort zone right now. 168 supplies, 68 drones. He's got a lot of units now, starting the +2 flyers and the +2 carapace, as well as the +1 melee attack for these Lings. He's got a lot of upgrades going at the moment, and TLO needs to try to cut corners, get this expansion up with minimal amounts of units around.
Yeah, and it is minimal. It's 129 supply to 192. DIMAGA is now looking to try and flank around with these Mutas once again. He is working on +2. There's only 2 missile turrets in that line, and TLO has responded too slowly with more missile turrets. They will be gutted. He's going to be forced to move all of his Marines back in order to try and repulse this. It's still going to do some reasonable damage, though.
Yeah, especially when +2 flyers finishes, they just kill turrets so fast, and if they don't, they kill all the SCVs surrounding the turret. Untanked, out of position, or not out of position, but Marines out of position. And that is hefty. That's
4 free tanks, and really, TLO cannot afford to lose anything right now. He must play unbelievably efficiently if he's to defeat DIMAGA, and honestly, I think DIMAGA probably roll over that position right now. There's not enough tanks deployed there.
DIMAGA's going to go in as soon as this expansion goes down. He will not let that turn into a planetary fortress. +1 melee finishes, +2 carapace finishes, and +2 flies attack. All these upgrades finishing at the same time, and in goes DIMAGA ready to clean this up.
Yep, he's going to be able to deny his expansion completely, and he smashes just an absolute swarm of units now, moving over TLO, and there's no way that will hold. GG, ladies and gentlemen, and DIMAGA continues in this particular tournament.